Hey, I'm Ryan Curran, and this is my fitnessgram assignment for Kinesiology 404. I'm here at the school that I actually work at, and I've worked here for multiple years as an elementary level PE assistant. So today I'm going to be going over a lesson for the fitnessgram for middle school specifically. I have done this before with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, so it's going to be similar to that, but a little bit different in terms of the standards that they need to reach. So the fitnessgram is important because it's a measure of where a kid is physically in terms of cardiovascular endurance and ability, where a kid might be overweight or where they are in a BMI index, which is important, and their overall fitness level. So you might have kids that are a little bit bigger and they might not pass the BMI portion of the test, but then you can see that they make up for it by being able to do the pacer or the mile at an efficient time, or being able to perform other activities at a relatively good passing rate, and therefore the BMI or the body mass index would not necessarily be all that important. So what I have here is it's really similar to what I've done before. Like I said, the only difference is that the standards are a little bit different because of the age group. And when we tested in the past, we generally would do a mile run, but it was suggested that we do the pacer test. So the pacer is the one thing that I wasn't familiar with before doing this. But that's what we're going to start with. So my mom is here to help me. She's also a PE teacher. She's been a PE teacher for, 22 years?
24.
24 years in the same school district where I work. So she's going to be my helper here. She's going to be an 8th grade student. So we'll start with the pacer test. So the pacer test, we've set up a distance of 20 meters. A basketball court usually works pretty well for this. So for this purpose, we'll start the 20 meters right around here, and we'll end at where there's a white line back there. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark, but that's where she's going to be running to. And what happens is there'd be music set up or a CD player, and the pacer test would start, and it progressively gets quicker every single time. And the score of the student is dependent on how many times they finish one lap. One lap is when you run from one spot to the other, not there and back. It's just from one spot 20 meters to the other. That's considered one lap. And what they would do is you'd have a partner on one side keeping track of this, so that if they make a mistake or they don't reach the end of the lap by the time the beep goes off, that would count as one non-passing. And if you get 2 non-passing, then you're out, and then you stop with the score that you have. So it progressively gets quicker. So for example, you line up here, face the opposite way, and let's say if the music was playing and there'd be a ding, so you go ahead and just say ding, and then you run to there and you'd stop. You'll stop at the white line. Run there and she stops. That's probably where her partner would be at this point. And then the CD player is going to have a certain pace, and then it's going to ding, and then you run back to the same spot, and then you get in a line, and then it's going to ding, and then you run back. And it's going to progressively get quicker every minute. You're going to hear three dings, and that means the pace is speeding up. So let's say you come back and you're running, go ahead. And it dings right here, she's not back yet. That means that she needs to get back on pace. You have one more chance to get back on pace and then run the other direction. So let's say it dings there, you don't have to run anymore. And then she doesn't reach by the opposite side, then she's out, and she would have stopped at whatever amount of laps that she's done, which the partner is in charge of calling out. So next we move on to BMI. There's a way to calculate this, and you can use the pincher to do the BMI that way. It's a little bit more accurate. Or some of the other measurements that you can do with the mechanical ones, the non-electronic ones, a little bit harder to do. And then you look up the chart for the age group, and if it's male or female who's getting the BMI done, and then that would be your chart for where that person should lay. And like I said in the past, when a student does excellent on all the other areas, like doing the pacer, push-ups, trunk lift, all the other stuff, but their BMI is a little bit over what it should be, it's not really a concern. But if they are overweight and they're having trouble with other stuff, it might give you a better idea of where they are and how much weight they should lose, or how far over they are. All right, so then we would work up from that to abdominal strength. So you can come and sit right here in a sit-up position, and we'd have a mat out for students, but we don't have a mat tonight, so you're gonna have to sit on the cement. So when we're doing sit-ups, what we want to do is you want to go to failure, and you want to sit back flat, Your knees are gonna stay bent, your feet are gonna stay flat on the floor, and your arms and hands are also gonna stay straight out in front of you. And so I'd say up, and then you go back down, and I'd say up, and you go back down. So one thing I've been noticing right now is that when she's going up, her heels are coming off the ground. So I'm gonna work on that and remind her that if her feet are coming off the ground, that we're probably not gonna be counting those. So go ahead again, up. Feet came off the ground again. That's just something she'd have to work on. And for curl-ups, for her, she'd be an 8th grade student. Females would be, you need to do at least 18, and males would be 21. So guessing right now, she wouldn't be passing that. Okay, then we would move on to trunk raise, or what we've called in the past trunk lift. You can stand up. So trunk lift, this is definitely one that you want to have a mat to do. And can you grab the ruler for me? And trunk raise, you're gonna lay down flat. This is not one that I'm not very good at because I'm not very flexible. What you do is you have your students lay down flat, their arms go at their sides, hands upside down like this. They're gonna look down at the ground, and you're gonna say 3, 2, 1, up. And when they go up, you measure from where the ground is to where their chin is. And another big thing you wanna watch out for is when a kid lifts their head up, they're not going like this, because that technically doesn't count. They need to keep their chin almost tucked in, and you measure it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not passing this, but I would go up, and then you look to see where the chin is, and wherever that was, I'm not sure, what was it? 7. So I would be 2 inches off from passing. The middle school range needs to be 9 to 12 inches to be passing. So that's why a ruler is good to use for that. And then next we're moving on to sit and reach. And generally when I'm doing sit and reach, we'll have a sit and reach block where you put it against a wall or some other kind of flat surface. You put your feet against a flat surface. You can come here. Just where there's a sit and reach block right here, which is not to sit in. So that your legs will be straight out in front of you. A lot of times I'll have the kids make a fist, and I'll have them lift up. Actually, have them lift one leg up first. So lift up your left leg. No, not lift it. Bring your knee up. Foot on the ground, and then I have them take their fist, make a fist, put it in between, give themselves a little bit of space between their knee and their foot, and then put your hands together and your pointer fingers even, and make sure your knee is not inside of your hand and your arms. Just bring it over. You can actually tilt that knee out a little bit. And so let's pretend there's a block here. I'll put my foot instead. And I usually have them do a warm up for this because it's a flexibility thing. And I would say 3, 2, 1, and then on the 4th one I have her extend to where she can go. And obviously I can't measure it right now, you can relax. But the block that I would have here with the thing, little shelf over here that has the inches on it, that would give me an idea. And for sit and reach, the female is required a higher score than the male because of flexibility. And then we'd switch legs and we test the other leg, and we get a score on both legs, and we move on. And then finally we do push-ups. And push-ups are pretty straightforward. They're not modified. For 8th graders, females need to do 7 or more, and males need to do 12 or more. And this is something where you just go to failure. So the student will do it as long as they possibly can. And you would do hands shoulder length apart. Your legs need to be straight, your back needs to be straight, and you need to make sure you're getting almost touching the ground when you go down. And if they only go something like this, we wouldn't count it. If they're going like this, we don't count that. We need to make sure they're straight, go into the ground, and 1. You need to be going with the pace of the teacher, or if there's a recording that's telling you to go down, you could be going at the pace of that too. And 8th grade males would have to do 12, like I said, and females 7 at least. So that concludes the lesson. That's the fitnessgram. And thank you, my mom, for helping me out. And thanks for watching the video.